What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Game Pass in Review. My name is Kevin, aka the Muffin Man, and today we're taking a look at an indie game called Olija. This was a suggestion from our patron over on patreon.com/projectxtalk. If you want to vote on what game I play for Xbox Game Pass in Review, head on over there, subscribe at the $5 tier, and you get to vote on what game I will do a review for. If you don't want to subscribe $5 a month, we do have the $1 and $3 tiers available. You get perks, general shout outs. Check it out. We appreciate any support. Today, we're taking a look at Olija, like I mentioned. This is actually an independent game published by Devolver Digital, who, shout out Devolver. I absolutely love this publisher. They're constantly shelling out these indie games that might fly under the radar at bigger studios. So, Olija is actually a 2D side-scrolling platform game with 8-bit pixelated graphics. Well, as you're going to see, it's not the prettiest looking game. This game looks straight out of the 90s on the NES games. Some people like that art style. Personally, for me, I do not like the way this game looks at all. I think this is an ugly, ugly game. I've outgrown this. Maybe as a kid, this was fine, but this is not appealing to look at all, especially in some cutscenes. It just looks like blobs of pixels together. I really don't like the look of this game. That being said, there is a lot to like about this game. The main thing I like about this game is the combat. The combat in this game is absolutely stellar. So it evolves from when you first start the game. You basically can use martial arts. You can kick, punch, you can dive through the air, do a roll. But as the game goes on, you get more and more weapons. So you get a sword, and that changes up the way you attack. You eventually get a crossbow and other weapons. But my favorite weapon, and this is basically the main sticking point of this game, is the character whose name is Faraday. He finds a mystic, legendary harpoon of some sort. And this harpoon, when you throw it, allows you to warp back to where the harpoon is. So this opens up a whole new set of combo trees. So say you're comboing someone in the air with your kicks, throw the harpoon at them after they get knocked away, you can launch back over and immediately start attacking them again. This opens a whole new combat system, but also allows you to explore a bunch of new areas. Because in terms of the story, you play Lord Faraday. He is the lord of a small fishing town. Basically, he is sick of not catching anything worthwhile. One day he heads out on a boat, gets shipwrecked, and then he awakens and finds this mysterious black goo substance. It attacks them. A bunch of evil monsters come out. You have to fight your way through. You eventually find a fisherman who brings you back to another village in this archipelago. So here you are trapped, basically, but you realize that, hey, there's a bunch of your crew shipwrecked. So you set out to find them. And you get maps along the way. You give them to the fisherman. He takes you to a multitude of islands. On these islands, there are little dungeons that you side scroll through, fight the enemies, and have to collect keys, open doors, go get more dungeons, go get more weapons, find survivors, and send them back home. I think the gameplay loop here is really addictive. It's a lot of fun. It's easy. It's nothing like you're going to struggle with. There are boss fights. I never found the boss fights overly complicated or difficult. I think this game does a great job of balancing old school gameplay with new mechanics, because there's a lot of stuff in here that like probably couldn't be done back in the day that I think really benefit from being done on a modern console, even if this is an Xbox One, PS4, Nintendo Switch game. That's kind of where my love of this game ends, though. I already mentioned I don't really like the pixelated graphics. The combat kept me going back and playing the game for a while. I haven't finished it yet, but I did keep going back and I'm still actively playing it. I will say that the story is not my cup of tea at all. I do not find the story intriguing. I do not like the characters. There's nothing here appealing about it. And maybe this is my sense of storytelling seeking in, but it's kind of like draws inspirations from things like Moby Dick. Doesn't appeal to me. I don't like this sort of storytelling. I will say that when you are exploring it's not like an open world, but you can choose your location. You can choose to go to multiple different islands, and there's secrets on every island, and you can explore. There's hidden paths, hidden secrets to find. That is a little cumbersome to me. I don't really like that. I like more of a linear game, especially in this style of game. I would prefer to here's where you start, here's where you end, get to the end, sort of like a Mega Man, where you start here, you work your way through and beat the boss. I would have preferred that for this kind of game. I don't really like a lot about this besides the combat. The story is certainly low on my list, and so is the music. I find myself not enjoying listening to this game. I often take my headphones off so I don't hear the game volume, and I'll put on a podcast and just read. Um, it's not one for me. I got to be honest with you guys. I think there are better indie games out there. I think Devolver, while normally picking games that really I vibe with, this isn't one that I'm going to stick around and like recommend as one of their better titles. It's fine in terms of gameplay. I think it plays really well. I think the gameplay is great. I don't think anything apart from the gameplay really stands out for this title. So for me, Olija isn't one I'm going to recommend for Game Pass in review. But if you like what you've seen, maybe give it a try. Obviously, free on Game Pass. But let me know what you guys think. There is a little more to this game. There's a crafting system in there with hats that give you different abilities. You have to collect a bunch of resources. And even after a few hours of playing, I've yet to craft a hat. And that's a little frustrating to me. Like, if you want me to use this mechanic, make it clear, make it easier to use. There's other stuff in the village, like building up stuff. I don't really feel like any of it is explained all that well. And those are just little gripes I have with it. But again, let me know what you guys think. If you like the video, like, share, subscribe. Make sure to follow us over on Twitter at Project X Talk. You can follow me at the Muffin Mon. All of my co-hosts are down in the description. Make sure to come check out the Project X Talk podcast live every Thursday at 5 p.m. Until next time, guys, I'll see you.